Tributes have been paid to the pioneering broadcaster and former Radio 1 DJ Dave Cash, who's died at the age of 74. BBC Radio Kent had recently celebrated his career spanning half a century. A pirate DJ, he'd worked offshore for Radio London and later joined Radio Luxembourg. Dave Cash was one of the first DJs on BBC Radio 1 alongside the likes of Tony Blackburn and John Peel. Vanessa Cuddiford has our report.
The voice of Radio 1.
It's the Dave Cash Show.
Dave Cash made radio history as one of the original Radio 1 DJs when it launched in September 1967.
And thank you very much. We're here with you till 2 o'clock, so hang on.
He'd already made a name for himself on pirate radio alongside Kenny Everett with their anarchic Kenny and Cash show.
Radio London.
Those early days were spent offshore, away from the long arm of the law which didn't allow stations without licences to broadcast from the UK. Dave Cash recalled that time in a BBC interview 10 years ago.
The studio used to go up and down 20 feet, so you'd be banging your head on the roof and everything when you were trying to do a radio program. So you used to end up with, "Ladies and gentlemen, here are the Beatles." You know, it was very strange.
The broadcaster Tony Blackburn knew Dave Cash from that time.
I always thought his shows were very entertaining, and I enjoyed his company immensely. You know, he and Kenny particularly, I think, did a great program.
Radio 1, good time music.
Like many Radio 1 pioneers, Dave Cash became a household name and made the transition to television.
Yes, it's number one. It's Top of the Pops.
Ladies and gentlemen, the brand new one, straight in at 12, by The Move, Fire Brigade.
And thank you very much. We're here with
But
you
he
till 2
never
o'clock,
left
so
the
hang
airwaves.
on.
2 years ago, he celebrated 50 years in the job. He said it had felt like 50 minutes. In later years, he could be heard on BBC Kent, Surrey and Sussex every Sunday, playing country favourites.
I think most of our listeners probably grew up with Dave Cash in one form or another from listening to various stations over the years. And then for the last 17 years, here with us on BBC Radio Kent. We've been very lucky to have him, and he'll be sadly missed.
The last time I saw him was at BBC Radio Kent, and I went into his studio next door, and he was there with his charming wife and his little dog in the studio. And the impression that I got was he was a very contented man. I think the last years of his life were very happy indeed.
Listeners heard him sign off one final time last Sunday. Dave Cash leaves behind his widow Sarah and the fans whose musical tastes he helped shape. Vanessa Cuddiford, BBC South East Today.